Hello students, welcome back. So in continuation with types of chemical reaction, we'll discuss these three types of chemical reactions in this session. Already in the previous session we have discussed combination and decomposition reactions. So we'll discuss, these two are already completed. So we'll start from displacement chemical reaction. So you know the displacement chemical reaction or displacement reaction. In this reaction what happens, normally a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its compound. Normally what happens, it is a reaction between a compound and an element, and a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its compound. So if AB is a compound, and when react with a element C, and think that C is more reactive than A. So because C is more reactive than A, so C will take this place and A is given out from the compound. So now the compound form, new compound form will be CB plus A, because C is more reactive than A. So C will displace A. So C will take the place of A. So it becomes CB and A is left behind. So this type of reaction can be called as displacement reaction. If we take a real example, that you know that when iron is placed in copper sulfate solution, then as iron is more reactive than copper, iron displaces the copper and it forms FeSO4 solution, and copper is given out, and this is the example of displacement reaction. In this reaction, iron is displacing copper from its compound because iron is more reactive than copper. So you can take different example. For example, if you will take that Fe when react with AgCl2, it is also a compound, and iron is more reactive than Ag. Ag means silver, so it forms FeCl2 and Ag is given out. So this type of reaction can be called as displacement reaction. So then we'll go to the fourth one, that is double displacement reaction. In double displacement reaction, two ionic compound react with each other. Again I am repeating, in this reaction two ionic compound react with each other and exchange their ions to form two new substances. Then only it can be called as displacement reaction. For example, we'll take symbolically that AB is a ionic compound, A is plus, B is minus, and say CD is another ionic compound, C is plus and D is minus. You know that ionic compound is a compound which is made up of ions. There is a positive ion and a negative ion. When they combine together to form a compound, then it is called ionic compound. So this ionic compound contains positive ion A, negative ion B. This ionic compound contain positive ion C and negative ion D. If these two ionic compounds combine or react with each other, what happens? They exchange their ions. the A is given to C and C is displacing A. A and C are displacing each other. So A come to the place of C and C is coming to the place of A. So what will happen? Then it will form CB plus, when A it will, so two new compound will form CB and AD. So when two ionic compounds exchange their ions to form two new substances, then it is called double displacement reaction. Student, remember that in a displacement reaction, what happens? A compound and an element react with each other. Whereas in a double displacement reaction, two compounds react with each other and the compound must be ionic compound. Then they exchange their ions to form two new products. This type of reaction can be called as double displacement reaction because both are displacing each other. If we take the real example, that sodium sulfate Na2SO4 aqueous, when react with BaCl2 barium chloride, sodium sulfate solution when react with barium chloride, so barium and sodium, they are exchanging each other. Ba come to this place, Na come to this place. So the product becomes BaSO4, that is actually solid or PPT, plus NaCl, and in order to balance you have to multiply 2. So this reaction is a double displacement reaction because sodium ion and barium ion is exchanging each other between these two compounds. So these two are ionic compound. They exchange their ions to form two new product. Hence, it is called double displacement reaction. So as already we have told that PPT means insoluble product. So precipitation reaction and double displacement reaction, normally they are same, but example is same. Why it is called precipitation reaction? Because in this reaction precipitate is formed, hence it is called precipitation reaction. And why it is called double displacement reaction? Because two ionic compound exchanging their ions to form two new products. So all the double displacement reactions are normally precipitation reaction. We'll take another example, that PbNO3 whole 2 lead nitrate when react with potassium iodide, it form PbI2 lead iodide plus potassium nitrate, and if you balance it, it will form like this. So PbNO3, it is aqueous, it is also aqueous, and PbI3 is precipitate and it is also aqueous. And you know that color of lead iodide will be yellow, whereas BaSO4 will be white. So this is also a precipitation reaction, and also it can be called as double displacement reaction. And because yellow precipitate is formed here, hence it is precipitation reaction, and two ionic compound exchanging their ions to form two new substances, hence it is double displacement reaction. Again I am telling, all the double displacement reaction can be categorized into precipitate reaction, because in all double displacement reaction precipitate is formed, and precipitate means insoluble product. If the product becomes insoluble, one of the product becomes insoluble, then that insoluble product is called precipitate, and the reaction involving formation of precipitate is called precipitation reaction. Then the last one, it is called oxidation, reduction and redox reaction. So we will go one by one. The first one is oxidation. In oxidation reaction, In this reaction, uh, either oxygen is added or hydrogen is removed, or electron is removed. So if in between these three any one will take place, then it is called oxidation reaction. In oxidation reaction, oxygen is added or hydrogen is removed or electron is removed. If any one is taking place in a reaction, then it is called oxidation reaction. We'll take the example that copper, when burns with oxygen, it forms copper oxide. So this reaction can be called as oxidation reaction. Why? Because in copper, oxygen is added to form copper oxide. So this reaction is called oxidation reaction. And in copper oxide is black in color. Similarly, carbon, you know that carbon react with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. This reaction can also be called as oxidation reaction because oxygen is added. These two reactions what I have written here, this is the oxidation reaction, no doubt, but again it can be called as combination reaction also. So it does not mean that if it is oxidation reaction, it is only oxidation, not the other. One reaction can be of 2 or 3 types. Means this reaction can be called as combination reaction. This reaction can also be called as oxidation reaction. Then we'll go to reduction. In reduction, oxidation and reduction, these two are just opposite to each other. In oxidation, oxygen is added. So in reduction, oxygen is removed. Here hydrogen is removed. Here hydrogen is added. Here electron is removed. Here electron is added. It means a reaction can be called as a reduction reaction if oxygen is removed or hydrogen is added or electron is added. If any one will take place, then it is called reduction reaction. If you remember these two, make it opposite, then it becomes reduction reaction. We'll take an example that you know nitrogen when added with hydrogen to form ammonia. So this is an example of reduction reaction because here hydrogen is added with nitrogen to form ammonia. This is an example of reduction reaction. And the last one, that is redox reaction. In redox reaction, you see the redox word consists of two words. Actually, if you divide this, it becomes red, it becomes ox. The red for reduction and ox for oxidation. It means if in one reaction both reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously or together in a single reaction, then it is called redox reaction. Again I am repeating, the reaction in which reduction and oxidation both takes place simultaneously or at a time, then it is called redox reaction. We'll take an example that you know the copper oxide when react with carbon to form Cu plus CO, carbon monoxide. So when copper oxide react with carbon to form copper and carbon monoxide, this reaction is called redox reaction. Why? You see here, first it was copper oxide, then it becomes copper. So if we'll see, from copper oxide it becomes copper, it means oxygen is removed. That's why it becomes Cu. Whereas in the reactant side it was C, but when in product side it becomes CO. It means here oxygen is added. So if oxygen is removed, then it is called reduction. So this reaction is reduction reaction, and here oxygen is added, it is oxidation reaction. So you see now that is a single reaction, reduction is also taking place, oxygen is also taking place. So because both reduction and oxidation are taking place in a single reaction, hence it is called redox reaction. This is all about the 5 types of chemical reaction. Thank you for this session. Thank you.